Hey everyone, today we are going to do a strength training C day. I want to give you guys a good look at what that protocol looks like, a little bit of what it entails. I do have my device on, it's flashing and ready to connect, as you can see. I'm actually going to flip that off right now for our complete progression here. I already have my protocols pulled up. We're going to find that strength training C day. So I can come over to the strength tab. Let's do it this way today. And I'll scroll down for that strength training C day 1 session. So as you guys know, this is where we're going to select left or right hand because the device isn't on or isn't connected. There we go. We're going to get our pop up to connect the device. So let me turn this on. Once it starts flashing, we know we're ready to go. So I'll connect the device. Boom. There we go. Connected, and we are being instructed how to set up. So let me just strap in real quick. We're ready. All right, so we know we're doing mid-finger work with the C day. So let's make sure that distal joint is exposed. We, of course, covered this in the tutorial, but if you needed to see it again, there it is. That distal joint of each finger is exposed. And we have our instructions here. This is for the warm-up. I have already done a good bit of FlexPro grip training for the day, but I'll still give you guys a look of what the warm-up entails. So we'll go through this. I'll click continue. We're going to calibrate as always. Try to float those fingers for the calibration. We'll take a few seconds here. And there we go. So first thing we have in this warm-up, you can see we have 3 exercises. We have 2 reps of mid-finger flexion, 50%. And it's RPE because there's no target force here. So we have a 2-second hold, 50% RPE mid finger, 2 reps of it. There we go. And 1 more. Cool. All right, we'll click done. We'll finish this. Make sure the straps are tight now because we have ulnar deviation. So let me get those finger receivers out of the way now. I'm pinching those clips and sliding the receivers down to the end. I don't know if y'all could see that, but I flipped my ring finger over. Definitely go watch the ulnar deviation video if you want a better look at how we're setting up for ulnar deviation. But again, 50% here. We're going to calibrate just because we're getting ready for a completely new movement. I'm going to brace the back of the device, and I'm just going to go 50% RPE, 1 rep. Perfect. So we're done. And now we have radial deviation. On C days, we also do radial deviation. We do both the wrist deviations. Similar concept here, but now instead of, if I go back to baseline, where that deviation paddle is in between my ring and middle finger, ulnar deviation, I had the paddle then between the ring and the pinky or the little finger. Now I'm going to flip it to the other side. So this paddle is either between my middle finger and index finger, or if it's comfortable, we can actually go all the way over and put it between the index finger and the thumb. So I might actually do it this way today. I'm going to click continue, and we're going to calibrate. As a note of how to set up, just make sure you're consistent. There really is no right or wrong. You just want to be consistent. That way you know what your numbers actually mean. So now I'm going to brace the device as we've talked about before. And obviously our picture here is index and ring. So maybe for consistency, I'll just match that. There we go. Index between the index and middle finger. I think I said index and ring. My mistake. Between the index and middle fingers. So 50% RPE rep, press. There we go. Of course, I can scroll down and see how I did. And that's it for the warm up. I'll give you guys a quick chance to read that. Hopefully you can see the full screen there. But the C day for strength involves 1 rep maxing. So I'm going to perform a 1 rep max and then have some training reps associated with that 1 rep max. So my odd number exercises are my 1 rep maxes. My even number exercises, which include a couple of reps, are going to be my training exercises. And as I had mentioned in previous videos, or I think I said it before, because we are doing strength training and it being a single session, as you see labeled by 1 session, we are training at 70% of our 1 rep max. And that's the 1 rep max performed in this specific workout. So I'm going to click continue and let's get into it. We're going to calibrate again as we get started. On these 1 rep maxes, you are going to see a PR right here. I've got a PR of 184. I can promise you I'm not going to be hitting that today. I've already done some work on the device, and I more just want to show you guys how this is going to work. If I get to 160, I'm going to be stoked. So let's go for it. Technically, I have 5 seconds to get there, but really, that's just a frame of reference. You can kind of take as much time as you want. So I'm going to pull. We'll take that. 157 is plenty good enough. I don't want to show you too ugly of a face as I pull on the device, but there's my breakdown. I know those numbers aren't great. I guess at least I got to the, what is that? I'm not quite at even the 50th percentile for the pro level. I'm a little above the 75th percentile at the college level. This doesn't mean quite as much to us because we have our velo targets available on our website. Definitely suggest checking those out. It's under the user portal on flexprogrip.com. But if you just want quick reference, this should give you a decent idea. So I will click done. What did I do? I got 160, roughly 158, I think is what it rounded to. So that's why I have a target of 110 here. Now I have a total hold time of 8 seconds. And as you can see, I have 2 training reps. So I'm going to perform those. Pull, just try to camp right around that 110. I don't get bonus points for going higher. There we go. What did I average? 105. Not terrible. I was pretty close to it. Ideally, I would like to be right at that 110. So we'll see how my next rep is. As you guys could see, I had that programmed rest time. Holding, and boom. There we go. That rainbow expired, and I had my ding from the app to let me know I was done. And I averaged 112. Pretty solid. Did a good job hitting my target. So I'll click done there. And now I have index finger. I have a previous PR of 61. I don't think I'm getting there today. If I'm in the mid 40s, I'm going to be stoked. I'm going to go for it. As you can see, I just have one finger in the device. And here we go. Didn't even quite get to that 45. I got to 44, but as you can see, I was pretty low compared to my PR. So I'm getting this pop up asking me if I want to redo it. It's making fun of me for being weak. Now, that's not true. We just do this to make sure that you actually had a good rep, because we don't want you training off of something that wasn't good enough. But that's basically all I had in the tank today. So I'm going to click no and continue. And everything today is going to be based off of this 44. So this is kind of a fatigue management feature in a sense. So on really good days, if I'm PRing, I'm going to train a little bit harder. On days like today where my numbers are down a little bit, I'm not going to have to train quite as hard. Technically, I'm at the same intensities, but I don't have to push just to hit the numbers I would hit on my best days. You can see I have my 2 reps, my 31 target force, 70% of max. That 31 is 70% of my 44 max that I got today. As you can see, training reps, because I'm on an even number exercise, that's 4 of the 14 total. All right, so I'll pull. There we go, right at that 31 basically. Try to maintain this, dropping just a little bit, and done. What did I average? 31. Nailed it. I was fluttering a little bit. I'd like to be a little more consistent, but that's totally okay. Also, don't worry too much about what these other fingers are doing. We're really just concerned about the index finger. So I'll do rep number 2. Boom. Average of 33. Pretty solid. Move on. We got the middle finger now. I like to think you guys are getting a feel for this. There we go. I hit my max. It didn't take me all 5 seconds to get to that max, and that's okay. So I just released early for that 50. And now I will click done. 35 is 70% of 50. I'll start my training reps. Just knock out these couple of reps. Hold, hold, hold. Boom. There we go. Nailed it. 35. So now for this next rep, I'm going to show you what happens if I don't hold past this 3-second on ramp. Let's say my finger slips or something like that. So I'm ramping up and I release. You can see it goes back to 0. This is just to ensure that we're holding for a proper time to get the necessary hit and give you a fair amount of time to ramp up. So again, if I don't reach that node right here, everything shoots back to 0 and it's as if I didn't perform the rep. And then what will happen if I release early? So I'm not going to complete this hold time. There, I released a second or two early. It kills my average a little bit, as you can see down here. So the goal is to hold for that whole 8-second time. And of course, the 8 seconds is what we want from a loading perspective. It's how we're going to get the gains that we really want. But you'll see your force docked just a little bit because it is taking an average of that 5 seconds, or that 6 seconds rather, from this node, which starts after 2 seconds. So we have a 2-second on ramp, 2 to 3 second on ramp, and then the remaining 5 to 6 seconds of the actual training portion of the rep. So I'll click done. I'll move on. And we got the ring finger. Get right into it. Ooh, what did I do? I tied my PR. Maybe I should have pushed a little bit harder, but that's okay. It makes me happy. So I'll click done. I'll move on. There we go. 30 is what we're gunning for. See how we maintain that. See my fingers making all sorts of weird motions. I'm not really concerned about that. Just concerned about nailing that 30, and I did. Got one more rep after this 8-second rest. There we go. Pulling. Hold, hold, hold. Done. All right, on to the pinky. 1 rep max. Oh, PR. Would you look at that? I got to 42. PR on the pinky. Thanks for joining me for it. Exciting stuff. All right, that means we have a target of 30. Now, this might be hard to maintain. I guess that's a small problem of PRing. Oh, starting to fade a little bit. This next rep might be even worse. Oh, I'm working. There we have it. Average 31. That was strenuous, though. Click done. And I know I flipped through that pretty quickly, just trying to speed things up a little bit for you. So that's pretty much to say we're on to ulnar deviation. So it's instructing me to move this ring finger over. So then the paddle, the deviation paddle, sits between the pinky and the ring finger. And because we moved on the device, we are going to recalibrate. You can see my PR of 96. Again, I don't think I'm going to get there today. If I'm in the 70s, I'll be pretty happy. I'm going to take my left hand. I'm going to brace the back of the device. I'm going to press. That's good. I like that today, just to show you where we're at. I got my pop up. How rude for them to tell me I'm just not where I need to be. So whatever. We as you guys know, we have that built in for a reason. I'm just messing around a little bit. It does feel just a little bit like a gut punch when I am pushing as hard as I can. But maybe that's good for you to know. Maybe it's a safety precaution. If your forces are lower than normal, maybe you should talk to someone if you're feeling pain, if you're feeling discomfort. But we'll click done. We'll move on. So now I have a target of 53. You'll see I have 3 reps here. The reason for that is we do a little bit less on the wrist deviations during the week than we do on finger flexion. We spend so much time on finger flexion, and although we're training individual fingers, those individual fingers are trained by a single muscle or two muscles. When we're doing the C day, it's just a single muscle. It's the FDS. When we're doing fingertip, it's the FDP and the FDS. But again, it's individual tendons that come down to these fingers, but it's one muscle that's controlling that motion. As a result, it's getting a lot of time under tension. So we just reduce the rep for the individual fingers a little bit. We reduce the rep count on each individual finger by one, so it's 2 reps per finger, because we're also doing that 1 rep max. Versus on the ulnar and radial deviation, we're doing 3 reps for training of each plus the 1 rep max. So 4 total reps. Working through it, trying to stay there, starting to drop a little bit. And now we have 1 more rep of ulnar deviation. Going way too hard. I can back this down. So the targets are there for a reason, remember. So I certainly went harder than I needed to. Average of 67. Yeah, that was dumb. I should not have done that. Should have camped right here at the 53. Now I've got radial deviation as a part of this C day. So I set up now with the deviation paddle between my middle and index finger. Click continue and press start to calibrate. You can see I have a previous PR of 57. I think I can actually get there today. We'll see how we're doing. No, couldn't get there. What did I get to though? 48. Not terrible. Not terrible for me, I should say. I'm not particularly good at radial deviation. It's something I could certainly put a little more attention towards. So thanks for holding me accountable, everyone. All right, target is 34, 3 reps of it. And we're struggling to get there. I'm working really hard for this. Oh, no. You guys are exposing me right now. Maybe I'm exposing myself and you're just playing witness to it. Oh, yeah, this is a grind. I'm going to put the device in front of my face so you guys can't see me. Thankfully, only 1 more rep of the entire session here. Here we go. Come on. Yeah, I'm pep talking myself. This is getting really hard. Done. Woo! All right, quite the session. That does it. As you can see, it says done, finished session. Once I click that, everything will submit to the back end, so you can view this either in the history tab on your app, or you can go into the dashboard, log in with your same app credentials, and check out how you did. So I'm going to click done. And from here, everything's submitted. It'll take me back to the protocol screen. That right there is a strength training C day. And remember, today we did the strength training C day single session, which is why it had to start right away at 70%.